Yep. Let's talk cheating. So I'm a kayak angler here in Virginia. Got about 25 plus tournaments I've done so far. Done a lot of local ones. Done a lot of state ones, or the states, the national ones. Mostly online. I've done a lot the locally ones for the VKT. I did a lot of in person, which has been awesome. VKT has been awesome. TKA has been awesome. A lot of trails have been awesome. Hobie, Slayer, all great series. Jumped in a couple new ones recently. Got another new one coming up, which I'm excited about. They look like they've been doing really good. Love their stuff. But this video is going to be about cheating because of what I've seen recently in one of the tournaments. And I wanted to highlight what I've seen, what could be out there, and maybe give some of those new anglers something to look at. Because if you're about to spend 50 bucks, 100 bucks, 100 bucks into a trail series, you're most likely going to donate your money to that event. So I don't mind donating, because I call it donating because most of the time I'm not winning all the time. I'm like top 3, top 5. I'm used to it. But I have a blast. I love to see how tough it gets with Panoptics out there and live scope. It gets really tough to try to get top 3. You'll get some of these guys that put in some good money and good time on the water. So they deserve what they get. So I donate to them, you know. But it builds my skill. So I'm up there doing it without a fish finder, and I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm okay with that. The reason I'm making this video is because of concerns I had, well, what I've seen recently and when I first started off, and some of the rumors I had regarding cheating that I think should be addressed so that people can at least talk about it. You can drop the comments below if you want to add more to this, the dialogue. So let's get into it. Cheating can be happening in many ways, especially if you do weigh-in. If any of the tournaments you're in, they allow weighing the big fish, weighing in the fish at all. You just so like you seen during the walleye tournament, you could add weights, or you could add cut bait or anything into a fish that allows that fish to be heavier. Ideally recommend that the fish to be alive. Some tournaments, they state in the rules and it must be a live fish. However, even if it's alive, you can still wait. You can still put stuff in the fish and then release the fish in the video, which could be a bad look because you don't know if that's what's really going on afterwards. So those are the ones I really am not a fan of at all. Then you got so if those say, hey, well, we want to weigh the big fish because that pot, we want to know how to break a tie or something. That's an easy fix. I'm going to tell you right now. KBF does a great job with this, and a lot of trails do a great job with this. Whoever catches the big fish first, they get the pot. It's that simple. If y'all both catch 2 beautiful 24-inch bass, whoever caught the 24-inch bass first, whoever submitted it first, they get the pot. That simple. And it'd be great. I love seeing big fish, but to weigh a fish, I mean, you could get a 20-inch fish that weighs as much as normally a 24-inch fish if it's pre-spawning, etc. So it's not really, to me, what should be ideal, especially for online tournaments, for tournaments that you don't have somebody there physically grabbing the fish, checking and inspecting, etc. So I think weighing the fish should be out of the question. So weighing could be a way people can cheat by putting something inside a fish. Another way people have cheated is stringing up their fish or putting it in a live well in the water of the body of water that they're fishing for that event. So when I first started off out here in Virginia, I was fishing in a Suffolk Lake, and one of the lakes, we actually swam or kayak past a basket in the water that had fish in it. So I don't know if that's only specifically for a conservationist support or whatever, but I do know that there was big bass in that, and I do know they do John boat tournaments out there. So yeah, so I'm not saying that people were cheating on that water, but I'm saying I saw a big fish in a basket out there. So yeah, and it was kind of hidden too. So it's like, I don't know why it would be hidden that way. And it doesn't make sense to me. So that's probably what was going on. So yeah, having a stringer, having them in a basket, something like that. People can do that. And that's one way they try to cheat. Shouldn't do that. It's messed up. If they ever found out, hopefully they all get called out, because that's no bueno. If people are stringing up a fish, let's say you go out with a buddy and your buddy catches a big bass and they're not in the tournament, and they call you up and they say, hey buddy, I got this big fish for you. And you go with them, they're holding that fish on for a stringer for a minute. You'll notice that the gills of that fish on that stringer turn pinkish or red the longer they've been stringed up. So if a fish is being scored and you look for that red gills, that's sometimes an indication that the fish has been stringed up for a while. So as a judge, just so y'all know, that's something to look for. And definitely question those. Let's see here. We could talk about how they can weighing. Oh, during the weighing. So a lot of directors recommend that the scale be calibrated. And there's always a sticker that you can get for calibration because scales can be manipulative. I don't know if y'all know, but there's ways to get scales to be adjusted a couple pounds. So if that happens, there's a way. If you're not around, especially if I'm out in the water by myself and I have a adjusted scale, I can get away with it. So not a good look to have the weight, in my opinion. Just get rid of that. Do the measurement. That honestly is ideal. Another recent thing I've heard is people can, by a judge or a director, be given the identifier in advance, catch all the fish, and then upload them later. So that's another way that could possibly be people cheat. I'm new on that one. I didn't even know people could do that. If in a trail that you're doing, they allow, especially if it's an online event for like a month or whatever, if they allow you to do private ponds, that's probably going to be a tough tournament to fish against, because especially if the person running it has their own pond that they're doing, yeah, you might want to just say private ponds is going to be a rough, because some guys got some really big fish in their private ponds and they're stocked on purpose. So not a good look. Highly recommend fish tournaments that don't allow private ponds. That's just my opinion. Now, another thing to look for, and I just saw this recently as well. This is another new one. If you are fishing, like say you're running the tournament, or you're a director, or you're a judge, and you're fishing with the person in the lead, whoever's leading, and that person you're fishing with, you're on the same boat with, but you're not in the tournament. That's not a good look, because if y'all are both catching fish, you could easily get your fish to that person to score the fish. So that's not a good look. Just saying, not a good look. I'm not saying that they were cheating, but it doesn't look good. It also doesn't look good when whoever's in first place or top three, if in one day or within a week they catch 5 really huge fish for a limit, but you go to the social media and they're not really big fishermen, or they haven't caught really big fish ever, and in 1 week they're catching a citation, or they're catching 5 fish limit that's really big off the get-go, and they're fishing with somebody else, very suspect. I'm not saying they're cheating, just saying it's suspect, that's all. So if you don't like the way that looks, don't do it that way. So if you want to be known for catching your own fish, or one shout out for doing a good job, fish on your own. Fish by yourself. Don't get in a John boat in a private pond with the director or the judge and be top first place and not be questioned, because that's already looking bad. I'm in a tournament that's already happening and I'm like, what the heck? Not good. Yeah. Another way is when you're measuring your fish, some people will take a picture of the fish. You got the identifier of the hand or on the ID. They take a picture, it's facing left, mouth closed. They pinch the tail. Now, just so you know, I'm okay with pinching the tail. If you can pinch the tail up and down a little bit and you adjust it so it gets that little extra quarter of an inch or whatever, by all means. If the fish has a beautiful tail, it's a beautiful tail. Good for you. There's fish out there that got their tails bitten off. That's a bummer. I had that. I had a really big fish with a tail bitten off. I'm like, oh, and it's probably a pickerel eating the dang tail, or a turtle. That's a bummer. I can't add measurements to a tail that's gone. So it is what it is. But there's people out there that will pinch the tail and people get mad about that. Honestly, I'm okay with that. But the issue comes when after you take the picture with that fish and you wait a while with that fish, it can lose length. I don't know if it's like they poop or something, but they lose length sometimes. You could retake that picture of the fish later with a different angle and sometimes get that fish to count. So that's just another way people have cheated. Yeah, I think those are like the main things I've seen. Yeah. If you know anything you want to add, by all means, add it. I'm pretty sure I missed a lot. But that was some of the main stuff I've seen so far. Figured I'd address it. And yeah, if you are going to run a tournament and y'all want to know what the best way to do it, use the apps. Fishing Chaos, Tourneys, iAngler Tournament, those 3 apps alone. Right now, Fishing Chaos is like the one that everyone's pretty much using. As a director, use that app. It's a great app. It's a great way to have a membership applied to your tournament so people can actually support your trail series. It's a great way to add your rules, your W-2 forms, all that stuff. It's a great way to keep continuity. Not to mention, when I'm submitting my fish on that app, it automatically tells me what my limit is, where my lengths are, and if it's been verified or not. It gives you an X if it's not. It gives you a check if you are. It's gray if it tells me where I'm at when I submit my fish. As soon as I submit my fish, it tells me where I'm at in gray, which tells me it hasn't been verified, but this is where it could be once it's verified. I love that. I can do a print screen. I can take a picture of where my standings are. I can share that so people can watch me compete. Great option. So for those trail series or tournaments that are allowing you to email or text or use Facebook for your submissions, that's not ideal. I'm just telling you that right now, especially with these apps. Use the apps. Not to mention, lastly, with that, if I'm emailing you a fish in a tournament of 30 people, imagine 30 people submitting 5+ fish every single time, especially if you're allowing calling. That means the judges, or if it's 1, 2, or 3, are going to have a lot to judge. And it ruins the continuity as far as, like, if you're judging that many, I'm gonna be like, how do you verify correctly that the location's correct, that there's not a double fish, that et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot to judge. So highly recommend use the apps, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm about to get off my soapbox. I'm about to go fish for maybe about an hour, and then yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you made it to 11 minutes. Oh, thank you. So appreciate you watching Nauti Fish. This is about cheating, so if y'all got anything to add, you can drop it down below. Would love to hear your comments. This was just an open dialogue. I was just killing some time right now. I'm in an event that somebody, as soon as I was about to sign up for this event, the rules kept changing. Somebody messaged me on the side. Several people messaged me on the side, giving me concern about the person running the tournament, about events happening. And I was like, what the heck? And so it opened my eyes to, like, man, I can't believe people would want to even try to cheat. That I was supporting. I was really supporting these events and trying to give good faith. So not really happy to see it possibly having a negative thing go on, and I don't like support negative stuff. But either or, I'm not going to say it is happening. I'm just going to say what to look for. I figured y'all should, know that it's not a good look, especially if you're running a tournament that you're being questioned. So don't fish if the person's in the lead, don't be fishing with them in a private pond on that boat. Doesn't look good, y'all. So yeah, doses.